Alright, so we're going to do a few things today. I'm going to hook up my, we'll attempt to hook up my oil pressure sensor or sending unit. It's a 1/8 NPT, and I've got this adapter 12 by 125 metric, and then it goes to 1/8 NPT. So in theory this should thread into the block, the stock oil temp sensor, and then this will thread into the sending unit. So first I'm going to see if it works, if it fits, then I'm going to throw some of the sealant on it and bolt that up. I don't know where my Teflon tape went. I'd much rather use Teflon tape, but I'll be using the sealant. Alright, so I swapped the old one out and I'm putting the new one in now. It should read right with my, this is the stock 240SX KA sending unit, coolant sending unit, since I have the KA cluster. So hopefully the resistance will be correct and it'll show the line in the middle, where this one the resistance was incorrect and the line was only like 1 or 2 bars, and so I want to make sure it's as accurate as possible before I get an actual coolant temp gauge in the car. Alright, so I got bored and I took the old pressure regulator out. It used to go right there, fuel pressure regulator. I have my adapter, my Tomei adapter here, and my Tomei adjustable fuel pressure regulator right there, and the gauge here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount the adapter, find a good place for this pressure regulator, and that'll be installed. So tomorrow I'm gonna drive it around, and hopefully it was getting a little bit lean, so we'll see what I can do to fix that. So what's up, YouTube? Like, subscribe, comment, and reply. Just kidding.
Sound like that making fun of me.
Oh really? Okay, so did a lot today. Got my pretty HKS radiator cap on. Got the Tomei installed. Tomei fuel pressure regulator with the Tomei pressure gauge and the Tomei adapter here. I'm going to eventually do the steel braided fuel hose lines, but for now I got it hooked up with what I had in the garage, and we will test that tomorrow. That's why I'm not putting a zip tire clamp on this, so I can adjust it tomorrow, pull this off, adjust it, see how it runs. But yeah, this engine bay is starting to look pretty good. Got all some cool little parts. The Apex boost control gauge, all that's hooked up and ready to go. What up? We're back for another day in the garage of Edwin Sanders. I took my old shifter out because if you can see there, these bolts go right across. Well, in the KA transmission it actually is up here a little bit. It's offset, so it causes the transmission at high speeds, it leaks out fluid, and I don't want to do that. Oops, sorry. I don't want to be leaking out my fluid and then cause issues with the gears, so I'm swapping that out. Also, the short shifter I came with, the ISR, comes with a plastic bushing, and I had upgraded this already to the brass bushing. So I got the hard brass bushing in here, and I added a little bit, topped off a little bit more fluid. See, there I got the brass bushing in there, so it can handle a little bit more abuse. Oh shoot. So I'm gonna get that in there, get these bolts lined up, make sure that you put that bushing in there. You guys should know that. That way you can shift gears and stuff. And then we'll close this ugliness back up. And here's my shifter boot. I'll show you how that goes later. Alright, let me do this. Here we go. Alright, so I got that in there, and you can see how these are offset, and now they actually line up. So I'm going to put these bolts in. It's just 6 bolts. 2 of them are up here in the front a little. It's actually easier to do now that I have the RB13, because my shifter sits back. You see where I notched it out? Sits back about 3 inches or so. And now I can actually get those front ones without jacking the car up and going underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and put those 6 bolts in and Then I'll do the shifter boot on top of that. Okay, got all 6 bolts in. The shifter's a lot more stiff than that old one I had. Now we're going to take this guy, figure out how it goes. Let's see. That goes there. Alright, let me figure out how this goes and then I will get back to y'all. So luckily the holes are still pretty visible. Alright, got it in. Shifts good, nice and tight. This is my boot here. What do you think about it? Oh yeah. It's got all 4 bolts and then 2 in the back, so 6 total bolts. Keeps all the dust and debris out. I'll get a real boot later, but I don't have any rubber to make one out of right now. So that's what I got. I got my shop dog, my sister in here watching 13 Reasons Why. So plenty of entertainment. I'm gonna put the centerpiece back in and close it up. All right, we got it all put up. I don't know if I recorded this yet. I got this mounted for, you know, the gauge pod mounted permanently or whatever. And then I also, let's see, flashlight. So my Bluetooth, I guess, when I shut off the battery on the car, the Bluetooth stops working for my tablet. So I mounted it way back in there. So can't really see it, you know. I mean, you can, but it's kind of tucked away because otherwise when I plug the tablet in, when I slide it in there, the aux will stick out, you know, about 3 inches up to here, and then my knee can hit it or whatever when I'm flying around, you know. So that keeps it kind of hidden away so it doesn't get in the way of my feet, and then I can mess with it whenever I want. Maybe someone else wants to put their Bluetooth on or whatever. Alright, so we got the blast pipes out here. They look pretty cool. They stick out. It's pretty nice. They stick out just about as much as the wing. So that way, you know, it looks pretty good. And I know I'll hit my wing before I hit the pipes. And that also helps. Actually, it's pretty much dead even. But that actually helps when backing up somewhere. If I'm backing up and I can tell that the spoiler is getting close to the garage door or whatever, I know that the exhaust tips are going to be in that general area. So that makes it easy to, you know, not hit anything. Let's see what I did this weekend. I didn't do too much. Got some stuff done. Exhaust is fitted. I think I already walked this through. I got lots of footage. Not enough, actually. But I got my HKS radiator cap installed. I got the Apexy boost controller you saw me guys hook up. The Greddy blow-off valves installed. Sounds good. And then the Tomei fuel pressure regulator with the fuel pressure regulator gauge, with a fuel pressure gauge. And I got my lines, you know, I already said they're just what I had for now, and I'm going to do AN fittings later. But yeah, they just all run. Looks kind of crazy. Like this side looks pretty sleek, clean. I still need to put a air filter in and remove the MAF, but I'm going to use the MAF as an air filter right now. And on this side, it's just like hose, wires. But that's just the way it is, unless I were to run individual wires, which if I do a standalone eventually, I might wire the entire thing myself. But for now, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm gonna shut up the shop and go hang out inside for a few more hours before I gotta head back so I can go to work next week. This week, gotta wake up early. But yeah, that's it. See you guys next time.